To best-selling author Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter, of course, has written a fabulous book. It's a big bestseller called In Trump We Trust. And you can get her new column. Go to anncoulter.com and you get everything there, or follow her on Twitter. Ann Coulter, what do you think?
Well, this may violate the Trump's encouragement that we be united. But, man, liberals are violent. And the violence since Trump's election has gotten totally out of control. This is not completely out of left field. It is a left-winger, something NBC is refusing to report, though they are.
Is that true? Really?
Yep. Yeah, they're mentioning his social media page. Well, you can go to his Facebook page. Bernie Sanders supporter, Democratic Socialism in 3 words. We the people.
And he has some
1976.
He has some anti-Trump stuff on it.
Yeah, and MSNBC NBC will not report it. So I was just tweeting this is how to write a mainstream media story. Okay, the shooting facts are white, male, gun, left-winger. Which facts go in the lead and which facts do you completely leave out?
Yeah. You pointed out something once. Whenever they mention Fox, they always say conservative network Fox. But whenever they mention MSNBC, it never says liberal network MSNBC.
No, but it's worse than that. There's no parallelism here. I was thinking about this with, take something that is, Fox is a news station. Breitbart is opinion journalism, always being attacked as, alt-right. And what do they have on that? They have some headlines, some very funny headlines, I might add, mostly for Milo columns. But they don't do anything like this. Here, the media is perfect. I mean, it's as if they're gathering in the conference room. Which facts will we use? Oh, and today's shooter is Muslim, male, gun, jihadist. Which facts do we use? Which facts do we withhold from the public? It's not. Do they think we're never going to find out? Are they sitting back at NBC saying, well, at some point we're going to have to mention he's a Bernie supporter, aren't we here? No. It is carefully calibrated. It is planned. There is not lying like this coming from, as far as I know, any conservative media. They may concentrate on conservative stories. They may give you conservative opinion. These are news networks crafting the news to push a particular agenda. And everyone's forgotten this. Will be the thesis of my column this week at the third debate. Boy, of people, you forget what happens, a week later, especially with liberals pumping out all this fake news constantly and then returning to it. At the third debate, Chris Wallace asked Donald Trump, but not Hillary Clinton, something that I pointed out with annoyance at the time, will you accept the results of the election should you lose? And Trump said, I think quite reasonably, well, we'll have to wait to see what happens. The entire universe exploded, the media, every newspaper in the country, MSNBC spent a week. He's trampling on our Constitution. He's ripping up democracy. This is the most direct assault on democracy this nation has ever seen. We must accept the peaceful results of a transition of power. Which side now has refused to accept the results of the election? 100% the media, 100% the Democratic Party. Hillary Clinton, his opponent, has announced she's joined the resistance. The resistance, Mark Simone. That is a militaristic term. If Trump had lost the election and later turned around and said, I am joining the resistance, that would be a dog whistle to the militias, to right-wing fascists. And in fact, we have left-wing fascists armed, masked, going around in groups, beating up conservatives, police being told to stand down so that the left can beat up conservatives. I'm attaching a map of violence against Trump supporters. Did you know Scott Baio, who spoke at Trump's convention, was attacked by a woman at his child's school a few weeks ago, or a few months ago, I think it was? Physically attacked by a woman, the wife of the drummer for the Chili Peppers, grabbing him, pushing him, and screaming, well, I can't say it, but grab her P word, grab her P word, grab her P word, grab her P word over and over and over again. I don't know. He's an actor. Lots of people know who he is. I didn't when I met him in Hollywood.
But very interesting.
That's another story. Do you even know that story? And that is minor compared to the hospitalizations, the blood. This is not just a bloodless coup that the left is pulling off through the bureaucracy, through the Democrats, and mostly through the media. But they are trying to incite violence against both Trump and his supporters.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I don't know anybody that heard that Scott Baio story. And this James Hodgkinson, the shooter, his Facebook page, making it clear he's a liberal Democrat. A lot of people are printing out that page because you can assume Facebook will take it down pretty soon.
Yes, and the media simply won't admit it. It's Orwellian, the world we are living in. Which leads me to my next point, and that is Trump has got to get rid of Robert Mueller and Rod Rosenstein, who has now admitted his incompetence. He has to hire an outside person and another team of lawyers. I don't know, aren't we paying Rod Rosenstein's salary? Aren't we paying the salaries of literally hundreds of lawyers at the Department of Justice? We now know from the leaks there are exactly 5 people at most under investigation who have anything to do with Trump anyway. There is the Never Trumpers, the Hillary campaign, the FBI itself, and BuzzFeed and CNN who need to be investigated for the only actual evidence we have of Russian interference in the election, and that is the Trump dossier. But as for Trump's side of things, it's 5 people, some of whom had nothing to do with his campaign, only one of whom is working for the White House. It's Michael Flynn, Carter Page, Roger Stone, Jared Kushner, and Paul Manafort. Rod Rosenstein can't handle the investigation of 5 people. He can't oversee that investigation. No, what they are doing is they are putting the establishment Never Trumpers within the executive branch itself. It's not enough that they have the media, that they have both the Republican and the Democratic Party, that they have the deep state, that they have the losing presidential candidate. No, now they're going to make Trump use part of his executive branch so that he will be continually responding, he and his cabinet members, and his employees continually responding to just this never-ending stream of fake stories being pumped out. And the fact that Robert Mueller is hired, look, he may be a fine fellow, but he's hired a bunch of Hillary never-Trumpers.
Well, there's a legal correspondent, Greg Jarrett, he's pointing out there's 2 laws that the special counsel cannot have a personal or political relationship with anybody being investigated. Nobody's had a longer personal political relationship with Comey than Robert Mueller.
No, that's true, too, but the whole point of his appointment, I mean, it made some sense at the time, irritating, but because the whole Russian collusion thing is crackpot. It is a crackpot conspiracy theory that, Rosie O'Donnell would come up with. But leaving that aside, it at least made some sense when Trump... We, the public, were not being told, thank you, James Comey, that Trump was not under investigation. Well, then there seemed to be a conflict. There's no conflict now. Trump isn't under investigation, and in fact, the entire world knows who is possibly under investigation. The 5 people I just named, Roger Stone had nothing to do with the campaign. The other ones, Carter Page never even met Donald Trump. Manafort worked for Trump for, 6 weeks on the campaign. None of them have anything to do with the White House. Flynn has been fired. Kushner, a tertiary figure here. What, there's some huge conflict with Rod Rosenstein? He can't oversee that investigation? No, the whole point of this is to put a never-Trumper within the executive branch to make sure that Trump is prevented from ever fulfilling the promises he made that put him in the White House.
No. Well, Ann Coulter, I hate to say we're out of time, but that was very interesting stuff. And everybody, you should always be following Ann Coulter on Twitter. And your new column comes out tonight, right?
Yes, it does. And yes, that was my little stab at unity.
Well, okay, but it's a good stab. And go to AnnCoulter.com and make sure you sign up there. You'll always be the first to get her column and get her book, In Trump We Trust. Go to AnnCoulter.com. Follow Ann Coulter on Twitter and Facebook. Ann Coulter, thanks for being with us.
Good to talk to you, Mark Simone. Bye-bye.
Right, take care.